So spring has finally sprung in Calgary just in time for Taper Week. Hi, I'm the Global Runner and I'm trying to get under 2:30 in the marathon, aged 51, and we are 11 days out from the Ottawa Marathon. So we're heading into the taper, and as part of that process, I wanted to go through one of the things that a lot of people have asked me about. Now, I've jokingly referred on the channel to sleep as my superpower, and I did mention that in one of my videos I had a 97 sleep score on my Garmin the previous night, and I had a lot of people ask me about that. And so I wanted to go over a few tips of what I do for getting a good sleep. And I'm not pretending to be any sort of expert here, but I do seem to get good sleep scores. I'm only using my Garmin, and as an example, last night I got a 93 sleep score on my Garmin, and I do regularly get what Garmin calls excellent sleep. I have used the Oura ring in the past, which I think is more accurate, but at the moment I'm only using my Garmin. And of course that has limitations, it's never going to be perfect. So I'm entering a period of taper before the marathon, and rest feels very much front of mind at the moment. I want to go through a few tips that I've got with respect to how I think I optimize my sleep scores. So I think the first one is I tend to go to bed exhausted. I've got a pretty busy life. I've got a full-time job. I've got 3 kids. I do a lot of running. And some nights I feel like I don't necessarily go to sleep more than pass out. So if I'm not feeling particularly tired, I don't force it. I do a little bit of light exercise before I go to bed sometimes, just to not buzz myself, but to make sure that I'm tired when I go to bed. So I do make sure that I live an active life, which means that I do go to bed pretty tired sometimes. And that's what I think helps with a good sleep score. The second one is that I'm generally consistent when I go to bed. I usually get into bed around about 9:30, and I will usually turn the light off around about half an hour to an hour later. So that's quite early for a lot of people. I'm getting up around about 6:30 in the morning. So I'm in bed for a decent amount of time, like 9 hours a night, but I usually only sleep for about 8 of them. But that's a decent amount of time. That's definitely enough in my book. In terms of eating, I definitely don't like to go to bed full. But I have recently been trying to have a little light snack a little bit before bed, so maybe 20-30 minutes before bed. I do watch Netflix. I know a lot of people say you shouldn't have blue light or whatever it is. I do watch Netflix. I think it calms me down. It gets thoughts out of my head of work throughout the day and those sorts of things. And I just like the moment of pause and reflection. So I do watch Netflix, and I don't sort of leave it to calm things only. I'll watch anything on Netflix or Disney Plus or Amazon Prime or whatever it might be, but I do watch shows before bed. I fall asleep listening to a podcast. I usually have an AirPod in one ear, and I listen to either Dateline, the true crime podcast, I really like that one, or the football, like the BBC Football Daily, and just sort of some general chatting in my ear, I think helps me fall asleep more easily. And so I tend to fall asleep listening to a podcast. I think where you sleep matters. And of course, we all sleep better in clean sheets and those sorts of things. But I also find that I sleep better underground. So if I'm looking for a really good night's sleep, I tend to go in the basement. And for whatever reason, I don't know if there's any science behind it or anything like that, but I tend to find that I sleep better underground. I always sleep really badly the first night in a hotel room. I don't know if it's because I'm high up or there are different noises or the different pillows or anything. And I have been known to take my own pillow to races when I want to sleep particularly well. But if I really want a good night's sleep, I head underground. I have used melatonin in the past, but only very sparingly and never more than 1 or 2 nights in a row. Usually it's to help with recovery or getting a ton of magnesium. The melatonin I had some magnesium in it as well. So if I really need a decent night of recovery, I usually take 1 or 2 nights in a row some melatonin, but I do that very rarely, and I never do more than 1 or 2 nights at most in a row. I do drink coffee, but I'm not a real coffee addict. I will drink usually 1 or at most 2 lattes a day. I have them first thing in the morning. When I wake up, I have a latte, and then around about 10 o'clock, I'll have another one, and then nothing for the rest of the day. So I don't think you have to abstain from coffee at all. Certainly, I don't abstain from coffee, but I certainly don't drink coffee later on in the day or in the afternoon. I don't have a nightcap or anything like that. I'm not a big alcohol drinker. There have been times if I've got a cold or a chest cough or something like that, where I have had a shot of whiskey before bed. I don't think it changes anything. I don't think it makes me sleep better or worse or anything like that, but I don't use alcohol to try and help me sleep better. Now, you may remember I had issues with my lung capacity, and my physio Tyson gave me some breathing exercises where I was trying to fill my lungs to their entirety, and I do find that those really help calm everything down. Even if I do 10 deep breaths where I'm trying to fill my lungs down into my belly and at the sides, I feel super relaxed at the end of that, and I feel like I'm almost asleep immediately after that. So every now and then I will do my breathing exercises at night, and when I do those, even if I only do 10 of them, I find that I do get to sleep more quickly. I don't think I sleep any deeper, but I do get to sleep more quickly. Now, there are a ton of other things that I could go through, like, keeping the room to a certain temperature and keeping the shades closed and those sorts of things. I'm not going to go into any of those. I think they are very individual. And I've previously, as discussed, said that sleeping is my superpower. And I am fortunate that I am able to sleep so soundly. I think a lot of it is just luck. Like, there is just a load of luck in the ability to sleep soundly. But I do think that it is massive. Like, I definitely get a lot more recovery when I sleep soundly. If you believe the Garmin, my training readiness often gets a boost. And last night it said boosted by good sleep. So sleep is so important to recovery. And as I'm entering this taper week, I'm not going to force anything, but I am going to make sure that I get as much sleep as I possibly can, again, while remaining consistent. So if that's not you, and again, I'm very lucky that I'm able to sleep so well, but if that's not you, don't worry. I think these are certain things where you're either blessed with good sleep or you're not, and I'm just extremely fortunate in that regard. So as we come up to the taper week and as we come up to race week, I'm going to be posting a few more videos about these sort of surrounding topics. So let me know if there's anything you want me to address. I'm going to be looking at race fueling. I'm going to be looking at my shoes. But if there's a topic you want me to cover, let me know and I'll see if I can cover it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you very soon.